Well, that also brings me to my next question. You've been doing goat farming for 2 years. How many goats do you have right here?
We started with we have around 80.
Oh, okay.
Around 80 goats.
And you started with 50 or 30?
Yes, I started with I started with 50. Now the challenge was, I went and identified a he goat. Now you realize that in most of these, because I bought local goats, but I wanted to bring in a pure, hybrid Boer goat to develop the genetics of these particular animals. By the time you bring that one, once it meets the local ones, then it will give you 50% Boer goat, and you keep on improving your herd. The more you improve on the herd, the more income it starts, earning. So, in that sense, I was able to identify a he goat to bring on the farm. But you realize the he goat I brought was not as active in terms of, mating with the females, because particularly where it was on the other farm, these breeders who have prominent farms and big numbers, you will find that if they have very good genetics, say he goats, they'll isolate them and graze them alone as a batch of he goats, because they don't want inbreeding whereby the son comes to mate with the sister or the mother, So now they keep them separate. But in so doing, these animals tend to be a little bit docile. They are not, they are good, they can perform, but it will take them time. So you find I got a goat from such a farm, very good breed, but when I expected that it would be able to mount some of these goats, it was quite slow. And I lost quite a lot of time, because out of the 50, I think it was able to mate around 7 or 8, and yet there were many on hit, but it was just a non-performer. And because also I didn't have a second back in there, and so there was no competition. So now that means I had to remove the he goats after 3 months, because for me I use the natural synchronization approach. Natural synchronization is where you bring in the he goats at a particular time. You want the females to be mated at the same time, at the same period. So you remove the back and graze it alone. When it is time for, and you notice that they've given birth, you want these females to come on heat and start, conceiving. You introduce a period, he goats into the herd for a specific period of time. So after losing 3 months and getting only 8 cases, and out of the 8, I also got some other challenges, some which were sick. I ended up having around only 5 that gave birth. So that whole season was kind of wasted. So I had to keep the backs off and wait for another phase when these ones have given birth and they reintroduce. Because you plan it in such a way that your goats can conceive and give birth twice in 13 months. So that was the unfortunate bit. So the second round I was able to introduce the back, plus also getting another second one to create a little bit of competition, and that's when now this he goat performed very well. The one which was a little bit lazy at the start, even when I introduced the second he goat, it became the master he goat. Now it was very, very aggressive and active, and there was that competition. And so we were able to get quite a number of kids during the second round. And so we are at that level where we just need to keep on monitoring and be able to, grow the numbers over time. Yes.